I was invited to a party, a retirement party. This man who had been a psychiatrist for 50 years was retiring. At the party, he got up to speak and he said, "Let me summarize 50 years of psychotherapy. For the first 25 years, I heard myself saying to almost every patient, 'Sure, sure, you love your parents, but deep down inside, don't you have a resentment?'" That was pretty much it for 25 years. The last 25 years, I found myself saying to almost every patient, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, you hate your parents, but deep down inside, don't you really love them?" Brief summary of 50 years of psychotherapy. It's funny, but there's a little bit of truth to it as well. In marriage counseling, 50 years of marriage counseling, you can say the same thing. Sure, you married the wrong person, but deep down inside, don't you think it was meant to be? Or, yes, you love your spouse and you're a very good wife or husband, but are you good to your spouse? You're a good husband, but are you a good husband to your wife? You're a good wife, but are you a good wife to your husband? It boils down to something really practical. If the marriage is important to you, if the relationship is important to you, make it better. Make it better. It doesn't matter how bad it has gotten. If it's a valuable thing, make it better. Who in this world can't use a little improvement in their marriage? So instead of focusing on how bad things have become, how painful and how difficult and so on, if you like your marriage, make it better every day. Not because of a crisis, but because marriage is wonderful. It deserves attention. It deserves input. It deserves improvement all the time. So simply make it better. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out how you can make it better. First of all, the way you speak to each other. Make it better. Speak nicer. Speak more gently. Speak more thoughtfully. Don't say everything that comes to your mind. Be careful. Be considerate of what you say without changing your personality. I don't mean become a thoughtful person, become a sensitive person. Don't become anything. Be what you are. But improve how you talk to each other. Why is it okay to raise your voice to your wife or to your husband? Why is it okay to correct him like a child in school in front of his friends? Why is that okay? It's not. Think about it for a second, you'll agree. It's not. Well, then don't do it. It'd be perfectly okay if you kind of helped out without being asked. Your wife is tired, she goes to sleep, you do the dishes so that she wakes up to a clean kitchen in the morning. Doable without having to change your personality. So the argument, some people actually justify never doing the dishes. Not my job. No, nobody's suggesting that it's your job. People don't have jobs at home. You leave home to go to your job. It's not the real me to do dishes. There is no real me centered on dishwashing. Whoever the real you is capable of washing dishes. So why not? It's not changing your personality, not interfering with who you are, but it makes a big difference So instead of thinking how bad the marriage is, how painful, how different you are from each other, how you don't really understand each other, how your communication is not very good, and then go off for marriage counseling, before you do that, just make the marriage better. It's like people say, how do I have peace in the home? How do I have shalom bayis? Peace at home. Well, first of all, are you sure you have a home? Really? Is your home a home? Before you worry about how peaceful it is it a home? And what would make it a home? Well, feeling safe. Can you really call a place home if you're not safe? Is it not terrible, the worst nightmare a person can possibly imagine? To come home to your home and you don't feel safe? That is truly hell on earth. In your own home, you don't feel safe. And not because of any great danger. I'm not talking about criminal activity. You don't feel safe from put downs. You don't feel safe from criticism. You don't feel safe from rejection. You don't feel safe to walk in the door and find your spouse giving you dirty looks like, oh no, I gotta put up with you again. That's not safe. So if that's what's happening in your house, is it really a home? You want peace at home? Well, first make it a home. Before you worry about the quality of it, make sure that there's a reality to it. Is it really a home? Home is a place where you can't wait to come back to at the end of the day. Home is the place where life really works. Outside of the home, who knows? We learned a very important lesson with this COVID business. Going to work, which seemed to be the absolute, commandment number one of life. You go to work. That's what it's all about. Well, we didn't go to work. Either you worked from home or you didn't work at all. And you discovered that there is life without work, without a profession. Of course, there's nothing wrong with a profession. Every profession contributes to the welfare of the universe. But is that life? Or is that a contribution to life? We discovered during COVID that life actually happens at home, not at work. In the olden days, work was simply a way of bringing home some bread to your family, which is where you lived, which is where life happened. So make your home a home. Then you can worry about communication and understanding and cooperation. But first, it's got to be a home. So a home is where you look forward to come to. A home is where you feel safe. A home is where you know life is good. Because whatever else happens out there, you have a home. You have a family. Many women came to our program in Minnesota, in Beis Chana, back in the 70s. They came from all sorts of backgrounds. In the early 70s, most of them were coming back from India, Tibet, Japan, where they were dabbling in Buddhism and Hinduism, meditation. There was the rage. Then they came to Beis Chana, they studied a little Judaism with a Hasidic flavor, and decided that that was going to be their life. And so they got married, had some children, and many of them complained. Life is still hard. We thought everything would be perfect and ideal. Well, it wasn't so ideal. But now, 30 years later, 40 years later, you see a family photo. It's quite awesome. They had a few kids, 6, 7, 8. Those kids had kids in these 40 years. 5, 6. It's a tribe. It's a tribe. It's a community. They came with a knapsack, and now they are the matriarchs of a tribe. And that was hard. Maybe it's still hard. Children are young, have young problems. Children get older, you have older problems. But you look at the picture and say, wow, you've created a world. You have partnered with God in creation. Be fruitful and multiply, the first commandment given to human beings. And how does that work? You make it better. You have a home, it's precious, it's vital, it's everything. So you make it better at every opportunity. So it's a very simple thing of adjusting our thinking. We think you get married and it's done. That's not alive. You get married and it grows. You get married and it lives. Living things are in motion, hopefully upward. So before you condemn your marriage, before you bemoan the difficulties of the marriage, and there are plenty of that, plenty of reason for that, but before you do that, make it better. Make it better. You don't need to read books. You don't need to go to classes and courses. Make it better. You know how. You knew how to get married. You knew how to fall in love. You knew how to please each other when you first met. Why'd you forget? So maybe you're a little disappointed that you need to still be working at it. But it's not really work. It's living. You breathe all the time. It's not work. It's living. A marriage is a living thing. It breathes. Well, breathe deeply. Make your marriage deeper, richer, more pleasant. Not for yourself, for your spouse. How could that go wrong? How could that not be a good idea? So wake up every morning thanking God for making you his partner in creation. By partnering with God, you produce life, you produce a world, a mini world. But we're only the partner, we're not the creator. So make it better. Everyone benefits. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic, and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there is a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it.